What is going on, everybody? It is the front, and we are back. I have to mention this because I was just sitting here for like the last 20 minutes starting to record this, getting all my news and information out that I wanted to. I look down, I'm getting towards towards the halfway point of this entire thing, this first hour of Raw of SmackDown, and I look down and my recording is at 000000. I look over and I haven't even hit the record button, so that a blunder on my end, and well, let's get started. This is the France, and we're back for another SmackDown Live review for Tuesday, January 16, 2018, where SmackDown was all about the United States Championship title tournament. They spoiled the fact that it was going to be all three matches tonight, with the way Tom Phillips said tonight was all about the U.S. title, and Bobby Roode in both matches were in the first hour. So if it's all about the title tonight, there's no way they're not going to have the third match tonight. Before we get into tonight's show, we have a couple things to talk about. One, Jey Uso got arrested for DWI, or driving while intoxicated. He was on the show tonight in the backstage segment, so it doesn't look like he's in trouble. If they lose the tag team titles at the Royal Rumble, this will probably be because of punishment for what happened over the weekend, where he was arrested for pretty much driving under the influence. Couple of signings by WWE's Performance Center with Ricochet, King Ricochet, if you know who he is, War Machine, and Candice LeRae, also known as Mrs. Gargano. Couple things about these guys besides Miss Candice LeRae, who I've only seen in her NXT stint and the Mae Young Classic. I've seen more of Ricochet and War Machine, and more Ricochet than I have War Machine. Ricochet, I've seen great matches between him and Will Ospreay. Him and Drew McIntyre had a stellar match for What Culture Pro Wrestling. His matches with Rey Mysterio and others, and Keith Lee, his match with Keith Lee and the U.S. qualifiers to get him to the U.S. to the Wrestling World Cup last year was a great match. That was just great. His matches with Will Ospreay, of course, are legendary. Those two put on a great couple matches for What Culture. They even had one where the top ring broke when they did the springboard backstand to each other. That was just hilarious. They finished the match. They made that really awesome to see. I cannot wait to see what he does in NXT. I hope he does not go to 205 Live. That would just kill his career. And I'm sure after his stint in NXT, if he goes to 205 Live, he would be back on the Indies within 6 months. Hanson and Rowe, I've only seen a couple matches. I saw the match where they won the WCPW tag team titles from Will Ospreay, and I can't remember his tag team partner's name, who ended up getting injured in that match. It was a 2-on-1 match, but Will Ospreay put on the performance of a lifetime against Hanson and Rowe. They ended up winning the titles, defending them every week under what they call War Machine rules, which will be interesting to see what that's going to, if they're going to initiate War Machine rules in NXT. Because if anyone knows about War Machine rules means there are no rules. So that would be interesting to see what happens there. So a lot of good things right there going down. Tonight's show was all about the U.S. title. As I said, we had 3 U.S. title tournament matches. We had the semifinals for both matches and the finals. After Bobby Roode challenged Jinder Mahal to have the match tonight, Daniel Bryan came out and had the match happen later in the show, which was the main event. And unfortunately, we saw nothing. I thought we were gonna have Dolph Ziggler come out, come out of nowhere, hit the zigzag, and produce a new new U.S. title or something. So I don't know what they're doing for the U.S. Championship and why they decided to buff it and put it all on tonight. Before we get any further into SmackDown, there has been news coming out that Daniel Bryan, for whatever reason, I don't know which sports books did it, but I watched and heard from Pro Wrestling Unlimited's videos that they have seen that a couple of the big sports books have made Daniel Bryan the odds-on favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Why? I don't know. Daniel Bryan, it's no shock to see Daniel Bryan on the list of betting odds in a low stack to win the Royal Rumble, because it happens all the time. Like, you have Stephanie McMahon in the Women's Royal Rumble along with a bunch of other ones for SmackDown, not for SmackDown, just for the whole show. So it's not a big surprise that Daniel Bryan is in the lower tier of favorites to win the Royal Rumble. But for him to be put as the odds-on favorite for a lot of sports books is just shocking to me. Will we see Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble? I doubt it. If they do, in Philadelphia, no less. Isn't that where Daniel Bryan came back from his neck injury to be in the Royal Rumble, the one where Roman Reigns won, where he got eliminated early in that awful Royal Rumble where it was Daniel Bryan gets eliminated early, Big Show and Kane eliminate everybody but Roman Reigns and Rusev. Roman Reigns, with the help of his cousin, The Rock, his quote-unquote cousins, because they're not actually cousins, they just like to play that up, they're blood cousins, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But Roman Reigns wins that awful Royal Rumble, and that was in Philadelphia. Are they seriously thinking of getting Daniel Bryan to come into this match? If they do, he has to win. If Daniel Bryan does get cleared and gets into the Royal Rumble, he has to win. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't have Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, no less. Where last time you got the building booed out. It wouldn't even matter if it was Shinsuke Nakamura or if it was anybody else. If Daniel Bryan is in the Rumble, unless he's in the Final Four and it's a stellar match, or like it's him versus Nakamura in the finals, and they have what a Shawn Michaels Undertaker was the next 10 minutes, or a match within a match, and those two just beat the holy heck out of each other, and Daniel Bryan gets eliminated by Nakamura at the end, or Finn Balor for that matter, or Rusev, or somebody who they want to see. Somebody who hasn't won the Royal Rumble before. But there's more evidence on WWE's own YouTube page that John Cena is probably going to win the Rumble. They first put up both of his Rumble matches that he won. Then they put up his match against AJ Styles last year, which he won. So are they really going to be this stupid? Is Vince McMahon really this retarded to do this? To have John Cena go for number 17 at WrestleMania? If this happens, Vince McMahon can kiss anything goodbye that he wants for WWE to go well, because WWE will probably lose a lot. And I mean a lot of hardcore fans if you have John Cena go for number 17. In my opinion, and this is my opinion only, Cena should never, ever be in the title picture again. He is at the point of his career that you start putting younger talent over. You lose close matches, you have put on great matches against younger talent, and you put them over. But as we saw against his match against Elias on Christmas last year, that ain't gonna happen. John Cena is at the point of his career where he needs to put people over. But we'll see what happens. We have supposedly next Monday, on the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, we will see John Cena's supposed to be match be built from there for WrestleMania, and that's supposed to be The Undertaker, which a year too late for me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see The Undertaker wrestle again. Undertaker doesn't even need to be seen. Have him in some kind of promo, like taped promo for the 25th anniversary of Raw. He doesn't show up in the Manhattan Center or in Barclays Center. Just have him have some kind of backstage taped promo, and that's it. Don't want to see anything else from The Undertaker. Let's get into this show. This show was pretty much 2 promos and 3 matches, which were all for the U.S. title. That really mattered. Nothing else on this show mattered. You had Ruby Riott and the Riott Squad versus Charlotte, the champion Charlotte, and her 2 best buds. Which, how many times on both Raw and SmackDown are we going to see the Riott Squad for SmackDown and, well, 2/3 of Absolution now, which if they want Absolution to continue, it would not surprise me if they bring someone else up from NXT to take over the role of Paige, so you can have a 3-woman faction on Raw and the 3-woman faction on SmackDown, which, in my opinion, I believe after the Royal Rumble is over, they will probably dissolve both of these factions because they just wanted to have them for the Rumble match. So, there's that. But other than that, you had 2 U.S. title matches in the first hour. You had that match, and then you had the championship match at the end. So I think that was all the matches for tonight. I really do. I think they only had 4 matches, and 3 of them were for the U.S. title tournament, and the other one was a throwaway women's match that nobody cares about. But the show started off with I'm so used and so conditioned to seeing Daniel Bryan or Shane McMahon come out that it's really refreshing to see a match pretty much start the show. I mean, of course, it was New Day coming out, so they were going to have their typical promo before their match. But it was Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal, and Xavier Woods did have some words for Jinder before their match.
My opponent despises each and every person sitting in this arena right now. Is that the type of man that you want as your United States champion? I said, is that the type of man you want as your United States champion? So, ladies and gentlemen, all who oppose Jinder Mahal as United States champion, say nay. 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 So people of this great planet of Earth, lend me your strength so that tonight I can defeat the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal and become your new WWE United States champion!
This match, from the beginning, was all Jinder Mahal. Stiff kick from Jinder Mahal from the get-go. He comes out, bell rings, and a stiff kick right to Xavier Woods' face. And from then on, it was mostly, if not all, of Jinder Mahal who controlled the match early. Woods hits a drop kick to try and get back into it, but Jinder stops that hit with a knee drop as we cut the break. Back from break, Jinder was still in control of Woods. Jaw jack by Woods, followed by a kick to Jinder's knee, but Jinder clotheslined him to stop any momentum. There was a little bit of a botch at the beginning of this match. Jinder looked like he was gonna, lift Xavier Woods over the ring ropes and drop him to the outside. That kind of failed. Xavier Woods kind of just landed onto the ring rope, on top of the ring ropes. He does get knocked outside, and Jinder Mahal nails him outside. Woods barely beats the 10 count after being drilled. Woods goes for the honor roll, Jinder blocks that with a knee to the face for a 2 count as we go back to a second break. But this one was picture-in-picture, and the entire time of this picture-in-picture, Jinder Mahal is just dominating him completely. Xavier Woods had almost no offense in this match. Back from break, Jinder Mahal has Woods on the top rope, looks to suplex him, but Woods fights him off. Woods on the top rope for a missile dropkick, does nail that. Both men are down. Woods finally gets some shots in, but Jinder hits him with a shot to the throat. Nice little shot. Off the ropes, Woods gets some more shots, then a discus forearm shot, about all he got. Goes for a springboard DDT that gets blocked. Woods does hit it in Zaguri, then a Shining Wizard for a 2 count. The New Day, the Singh brothers didn't then end up getting on the apron. The rest of the New Day, Biggie and Kofi, do chase them off. Belly to back suplex by Woods. He looks to go for a tightrope elbow drop, but misses. Match ends when off that elbow drop miss. The match comes in because Jinder Mahal throws Xavier Woods into the ropes. He pretty much gets hit on the bottom rope in the throat. Jinder Mahal picks him up, pulls him up for the Colossus, just slams him down, rock bottom style, for the 3 count, and Jinder Mahal moves on. So that was how SmackDown Live started. Then we go to the back with AJ Styles talking with Renee Young, where he starts talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and he starts mumbling his words and starts calling him Cammy. As in, Cammy, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Kevy, Sammy, Cammy. Yeah. It got really... Here is AJ Styles with Renee Young about his new name for them, as in Cammy.
AJ, Sammy and Kevin seem to be brimming with confidence heading into your 2-on-1 handicap match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, they should be overconfident. I mean, they have a huge advantage. It's 3 against 1. Well, let me explain myself. There's Sammy, then I count Kevin as 2 people.
Clearly, that's Vince McMahon telling AJ Styles to make a fat joke about Kevin Owens, so that's just typical McMahon for you. Typical McMahon with the fat jokes.
And this annoying yep. Oh my God, they sound like some deranged Muppets. Yep, 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 yep. You know what I'm talking about? How about Nope. I mean, these guys are one and the same. They're just like each other. Kevin, Sammy, Sammy, Kevin, Cammy, Sammy. I just call them Cammy. Cammy. You know what? I'm going to refer to them as Cammy from now on. That sounds good. And the very thought of Cammy being co-champions makes me want to spew my guts out. But I didn't get to this, point in my career from not facing challenge. No, I got to this point from overcoming obstacles. And I'm gonna make sure, in fact, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure this make-believe, this made-up yep movement comes to an end. Because at the Royal Rumble, they're not just facing anyone. They're facing the WWE champion. This ain't the Cammy show. This right here is Smackdown Live. The house that AJ Styles built.
And there were reports this week that Kevin Owens has been injured as well as others, so there was no response from either Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens tonight, which found a little odd. I'm surprised they didn't have something built for them. Then we had a little shot of all the women on SmackDown saying why they're going to win what they're going to do and how they're going to win and be the first ever winner of the SmackDown of the Women's Royal Rumble, which is just more political garbage. There was none of them said anything that was really out of line. So here's all these women on SmackDown.
The Royal Rumble is going to be Fabulous. Because everybody knows when it comes to making history, I'm money.
It's gonna take cat-like reflexes to survive 29 other women, which makes it obvious who's gonna win. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Becky Lynch, Naomi, Asuka, and even Nia Jax. I will make you all believe that you can fly when I fling you over the top rope and win.
I've been ridiculed and written off my entire career, but I will have the last laugh when I crush the competition at the ravishing Rumble.
This year's Royal Rumble is popping off. No one is safe and no one can be trusted, but I know one thing for sure. Everyone will feel the glow.
Riot is my name and the Rumble is my game. Creating chaos is in my DNA. You may not like me, but you can't stop me. WrestleMania, here I come.
When you're surrounded by wolves, you either fight or you run. And I never run from anything in my life.
I'm not here to make friends, nope. I'm here to make history. So when I win the Royal Rumble match, I will live forever.
I was the first woman drafted SmackDown Live. I was also the first SmackDown Live Women's Champion. But at the Royal Rumble, I will be last. The last woman standing.
I noticed it then, but I noticed it now. Only one out of all the women in that entire package right there, only one mentioned what they should be mentioning. I'm going to win the Rumble, and I'm going to go to WrestleMania. Ruby Riott is the only one who said anything. I hated the rhyme that she did because that was just cringe. But she's the only one to mention anything about WrestleMania, here I come. So, what's the point of having them all talk about what they're commenting on the Royal Rumble this first time ever when it's really not that big of a deal? But yet you're not going to have any of them except for one mention, oh, I'm going to go into this match, I'm going to win this match, and I'm going to go to WrestleMania. Kind of takes the point out of the entire Royal Rumble if they're not focused on winning the match and going on to WrestleMania. The only one who seemed to have any focus was Ruby Riott. So, That was just stupid as can be and annoying as could be. Then we had Bobby Roode versus Mojo Rawley. The winner would face Jinder Mahal in what we were expecting to be next week, not this week. But we did have a little bit of a surprise after this match. Let me get to it. Alright. Mojo got a strong elbow towards the beginning of this match to rock Bobby Roode. Mojo runs and hits a pounce. If anybody doesn't know what the pounce is the old finisher of Marcus Corvon in WWE or Monty Brown in Impact Wrestling or TNA back in the day. He takes control of the match early. Mojo tosses Roode outside, then charges up and runs into the barricade and runs Bobby Roode and slams him into the barricade. And that from there was the tail of this match, and of course later in the night, which is Bobby Roode's ribs, which got injured during this match. Back from the break, Mojo was in control, has Roode in the abdominal stretch working on those ribs. But Roode does get out, but misses an elbow. Mojo with a boot for a 2 count. Mojo started to taunt Roode by asking him, "Did I break a rib, Roode? Did I break a rib?" Trying to get in the mindset of Bobby Roode that, hey, I just messed your rib up and I'm going to win this match after I hurt you even more. Roode gets Roode starts attacking. He starts getting his ribs attacked. Roode gets out of a couple of moves from Mojo, but Mojo back on the attack. Mojo sends him into the corner. 3-point stance. Nice little weird way of him doing it. Runs his shoulder into Roode's gut. He tries again, but Roode sidesteps him. Mojo hits the ring post, which I believe is a little bit harder than the old ring post, even though that was a complete steel ring post. This one's just a little bit bigger, so more of the shoulder gets affected. Probably a little bit safer too, actually. Roode with the comeback shots. Roode hits a net breaker on Mojo. Roode on the top rope hits the blockbuster, which he does a beautiful blockbuster anytime he hits it. Going for the glorious DDT. Mojo blocks that, driving Roode into the ring mat for a 2 count. Match ends when Mojo starts throwing Roode into a corner and goes for the running forearm. Roode kicks him, jumps over Mojo from the hits the double A spine buster, then picks him up, hits the glorious DDT, and Bobby Roode is your winner. Post match, the Singh brothers attack Bobby Roode while he's sitting there celebrating in the ring, and they get out. They beat him down for a bit, and then they hightail it to the back. Towards the back, and Jinder Mahal is waiting for him.
What's the Singh brothers?
Listen, Bobby Roode just competed.
Samir and Sunil, they backed up Jinder Mahal in his victory earlier tonight.
Yeah, we know exactly what this is all about. Picking at a carcass. It's all about Jinder Mahal trying to take a shortcut, trying to get a little extra advantage.
Next week, I put a glorious end to your charade on my way to becoming the next United States champion.
Daniel Bryan comes up behind him after this.
We don't have to wait till next week. Why don't we do this tonight?
Dumb baby face right there. Dumb baby face.
No, we'll do it when I decide on my time.
Then Daniel Bryan comes from behind and makes the match.
I want you to have one full week to think how bad the modern day Maharaja is going to embarrass you when I beat you.
We went a full hour of this show without Daniel Bryan or Shane McMahon showing up. It was really surprising and really refreshing. Of course, he does make the match, which I'll let him speak now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will have the United States Championship match tonight!
What? Yes!
First off, that makes Bobby Roode look like a dumb babyface because just like any other dumb babyface who just got their butt kicked, like had their injury, oh, let me just like get my injury even more worse. But of course, as anyone knows, anytime they do this, the babyface ends up winning. This happened in the UK tournament last January, where right after his match against Pete Dunne, after his match against, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Wolfgang, he got attacked from behind by not Pete Dunne, Trent. Pete Dunne attacked his, who was it? Pete Dunne attacked his opponent, I can't remember. His name escapes me, but he ended up losing the match. The big heel lost the match in that UK tournament in the finals because, you know, it's just how it dictates. Babyface gets beat up, but babyface is hurt at the beginning of the match. They end up winning the match, so that was pretty much Daniel Bryan made this match for tonight. If anybody thought Jinder Mahal was going to win, when they made the title tournament as it was, I was expecting Jinder Mahal to walk into the Royal Rumble when we knew it was part of the Royal Rumble still, and actually win this thing. But since they made it for tonight, I figured, they're going to have Jinder Mahal lose. It was that obvious, especially when it was more obvious when Jinder Mahal was facing an injured Bobby Roode instead of it being an injured Jinder Mahal or whatever else. When Bobby Roode was injured in his match and they made it for tonight, it was obvious. Then we had the most formulaic and most uninspired and most unoriginal portion of the night, which was the Riot Squad versus the Champ and Friends of Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. Didn't give a crap about this match. I'm just so bored and tired of this. This just makes the Women's Royal Rumble match less and less interesting for me because they just keep having this all the time. We always see the same 6 women in 6-man tag matches on SmackDown. If it wasn't for Paige's injury, you see the same thing with Absolution and Paige, Becky Lynch, and all of them. Not Becky Lynch, but the other ones of Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James. It's getting boring, it's getting tiring, and I just want them to move on. End these factions and give us Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, or Naomi versus Charlotte, or Ruby Riott versus Liv Morgan, or Ruby Riott versus Sarah Logan, or Sarah Logan versus Liv Morgan, or Becky Lynch versus Naomi, and stuff like that. End this already. The only 3 heels, it's like you have a group of heels in the Riot Squad, a group of heels in the quote-unquote welcoming committee, and then you have 3 babyfaces. It just needs to end. Turn Liv Morgan babyface, because she's more born for a babyface role than a heel role, even though she did have a little bit cool heel tendencies tonight that made her look like a good heel, but she still needs to be a babyface. Then we had the Usos backstage. A lot of people were probably wondering if Jay was going to be on SmackDown tonight because of his DUI, but he was here tonight in a backstage promo, but he was here tonight. They were back with, I believe, Dasha Robato or Dasha Fuentes. And here are the Usos addressing the match for the Royal Rumble this year.
Gentlemen, last week Daniel Bryan announced that the 2 of you will be defending your SmackDown Tag Team titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match in the Royal Rumble. Do you agree with Daniel Bryan's decision?
Hey, Dasha, let me ask you a question right quick. Tell me, how did these 2 fools become a tag team in the first place?
I got this, Oos. Tag team tender.
I feel you. Hey, but Chad Gable been playing rebound ever since his boy Jason Jordan went to Raw. Now Jason Jordan is one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Chad stuck over here trying to play catch up, but he ain't gonna be no champion.
I like that little dig that the Usos had about Jason Jordan being one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, and his former partner is trying to play catch up. I like that little dig at what happened at Chad Gable.
On our watch,
I mean, them 2 chumps can't even tell us apart. Hey, it's real simple. I'm Jimmy, this Jay, I'm Jimmy.
No, I'm Jimmy, you're Jay.
No. Last time I checked, you was Jimmy, I'm Jay.
I thought you was Big J, I was Little J, but it don't even matter, because at the Royal Rumble, they gonna know exactly who we are. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Let's go. On the real, welcome to the...
Then Chad Gable and Jason and Shelton Benjamin come in and just beat down Jimmy and Jay, and then have a little message for them for the Royal Rumble. Besides that,
don't worry. We know exactly who you are.
Former champions.
due to Jay's DUI this week, or this past weekend, my question is, will they be punished by having him lose the tag team titles to the upstart team of Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable? I do not know. I'm hoping they have I don't know, and we will have to wait and find out. So that was that. Then we had the main event. There really was nothing else on this show tonight. You had 4 matches. You had the 2 title tournament matches at the beginning of the show. You had a promo by AJ Styles in between. Then you had the throwaway match of the Riot Squad versus Champ and Friends. Promo by the Usos, interrupted by Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. And then you had the finals of the U.S. title tournament, which saw Bobby Roode take on Jinder Mahal. Both men were in the ring when we started when we came back from the break. We had Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan out at ringside to pretty much hand the title to whomever was going to win this match. To anybody who thought Jinder Mahal, the way things went tonight, it was kind of obvious who was going to win this match by the end of the night. I was shocked to see them go this route before. I would have been more shocked had this happened next week or at the pay-per-view, but the fact that they had him play looked like he was playing a dumb baby face by saying, well, hey, gee, my ribs hurt. I need to maybe go heal myself up, but I want to have this match tonight. And Daniel Bryan say, well, you know what? We're going to have this match tonight. It was obvious from then on that Bobby Roode was going to win this match. Plain and simple. Roode started the match off with some offense until Jinder attacks the ribs. Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode did get Jinder Mahal in the corner for the 10 in a row punches, where the crowd starts counting with him. Jinder with a kick to Roode's head after Roode sidesteps him and Jinder falls outside. Roode follows outside, but Jinder attacks the ribs on the end of the ring, the steel steps, and the barricade. He suplexed him onto the barricade, attacking his ribs, just playing up the rib injury that he had earlier in the night. So Bobby Roode's good at selling, I will tell you that right now. Back from break, and Jinder Mahal is stretching Bobby Roode between one of the ring posts and then throwing Roode's ribs into the post again. Jinder then bounces off the ropes, nailing Roode into the barricade on the outside. Abdominal stretch to Roode from Jinder Mahal. Jinder continues the attack on Roode's ribs while he has him in the stretch. They start trading blows. Roode's ribs are playing a factor into this match, which was good storytelling, keeping it all consistent. Roode, plain and simple, anybody who watches any type of WWE match when somebody's ribs are injured, or some kind of injury, the person getting their butt, having their injury beaten on most of the time, except for, maybe a leg injury, usually ends up winning the match. So this match was pretty much set to have Bobby Roode win, which I'm happy to see Bobby Roode win a main title. Hopefully he will go to being the smiling babyface to the sinister smiling, when he smiles it's not a good thing, heel Bobby Roode next week or the week after. Roode with some offense gets a sunset flip for a 2 count. Jinder kicks him in the face for a 2 count. Jinder with a crossface shot to Roode twice. Jinder backs up and kicks him in the ribs. Jinder still dominating Roode by this time. Roode hits a clothesline to Jinder out of the ring. Gets on the outside apron and hits Jinder with a running clothesline off the apron. He sends Mahal back inside, gets on the top rope, hits a splash, but he overcalculates and hits Jinder Mahal not in the chest, but actually lands on his head, causing Jinder Mahal to be able to roll him over and pin him for a 2 count. Clotheslines in the corner by Roode, boot to the face by Roode leads to a blockbuster for a 2 count from Roode. Going for a glorious DDT, Mahal counters it into a sit down for a 2 count. Both men clothesline each other. Elbows by Jinder Mahal to Roode, nails an elbow by Jinder to Roode, but Roode ends up nailing a spinebuster to Jinder. The match ends when Roode goes for the DDT. Jinder Mahal rolls up for a 2 count. Jinder goes for his Colossus, reversed into a glorious DDT. Jinder Mahal gets pinned by Bobby Roode for the United States Championship. Your winner and new U.S. champion is Bobby Roode. And if it wasn't for the fact that the way they built Bobby Roode up as being injured for the entire night would have been more shocking. The fact that Bobby Roode's ribs were a main focus. And as formulaic as it is, I'm glad to see Bobby Roode as champion. But I'm really surprised that they did not go the Jinder Mahal route when the U.S. Championship fits his anti-American gimmick. But that they didn't go for it, that is fine. Post-match, you just saw Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan come in, hand Bobby Roode the championship, shake his hands, he raises the title, and that was the end of the show. Nothing from Dolph Ziggler yet. I think we'll see him next week. Maybe the reason they bumped this from the show was to actually because they didn't want to. They wanted to get Dolph Ziggler back on TV as fast as possible. With that being next week, will we see Dolph Ziggler come out next week with a newer looking U.S. Championship, saying, "I never relinquished the title. I was just going to get a new title. I'm the true champion"? Are we going to see the highly anticipated and rumored to be rehash of the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon storyline going into WrestleMania 10 from 1994? Yeah, 1994, which turned out to be a stellar ladder match. Will they be able to stretch this to WrestleMania? I'm not sure. I do not want to see them bring this to the Royal Rumble and be like, well, he's got a gripe, I guess, but we're going to have this match at the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be a ladder match. I don't want to see that. What I do want to see is Bobby Roode, after this is all said and done, turn heel. Bobby Roode as a babyface is just boring as can be, and of course with most babyfaces, he had the dumb look. He had by the end of his first match looked like a dumb babyface because he went out and was like, my ribs hurt, but I want to finish this tonight, instead of like, well, my ribs hurt now, as Corey Graves mentioned. Had Bobby Roode given it a week and his ribs were healed a little bit more, he could possibly be more ready for the title match at the Go Home show. What happens next week? I'm predicting we're going to see Dolph Ziggler return. He'll have a gripe with not really wanting to relinquish the U.S. title and that he is the true U.S. champion. And this will hopefully build towards WrestleMania. We're not going to see Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title in some ladder match or something at the Royal Rumble. The Rumble needs to be set as it is since they took this title match off of the card. So they are actually giving us something to look forward to next week with seeing how this is going to play out. I don't know. Make sure to check it out next week when I will be back there for that. But that is your SmackDown review. There really wasn't there was nothing else. I went over everything like that. It just feels like that when it comes to SmackDown. Raw, of course, is 3 hours, so there's a lot more to go over when there's not filler. Tonight is just 4 matches. 3 of them were worth something. The other one was nothing. You had 2 promos, and that was it. One, you had Shane McMahon say nothing tonight, which is a shocker. When was the last time? It's been months, really, other than, his 2-week absence between Hell in a Cell and him coming back, that Shane McMahon hasn't had a promo on SmackDown. It's been forever. The only thing Daniel Bryan said tonight was that the match between Jinder Mahal and Bobby Roode was going to be tonight instead of next week. Why they did this is beyond me, other than they wanted to bring Dolph Ziggler back faster than the night after, like 2 nights after the Rumble. So what will happen next week? I don't know. We will have to wait and find out. Until then, my name is The France. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at The France. Hit that subscribe button down below. Give me some comments on your thoughts on tonight's show and what we talked about at the beginning of this show with the signings of War Machine, Ricochet, and Candice LeRae, as well as your thoughts on Daniel Bryan being a possible favorite for whatever reason in the Rumble match as the full odds on favorite. I'll be back here tomorrow for NXT, which is going to be the highlight of everyone's week. They are at Center Stage in Atlanta still, which of course, if anyone doesn't know, was these WCW Saturday Night for multiple years. So I will see you then. Make sure to find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08, where I'm on every single day. Hit that follow button there as well. And if you would like to, you can subscribe as well. But I'm getting out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will also have a review of the top 25 the top 25 Raw moments that they are showing on USA at the time that I'm recording this. So I'll be looking forward to actually reviewing all those. In my opinion, on the top 25, there was 100 to 26 on the WWE website, but I'm not going to really pay attention to those at this time. I might go through those and give my opinion on what the top 25 is and if what I feel should be the #1 moment. Until then, I am out of here. You have a good afternoon, evening, or night whenever you see this, and I will see you guys later.